Hello everyone, I just kind of want to give an update as to what is going to happen soon. Some upcoming events on the channel, some videos that are going to be coming up soon. We got some pretty big news. If you've been following my Instagram, you know that I'm going to be entering my robot Oswald into the upcoming Brawl event in May. Yeah, late May. This is not going to be the same Oswald you've seen in a few fights on the channel. This is a completely revamped Oswald. Here's a little sneak peek. You can see it is no longer using the previous MDF chassis. But one thing is it is also not using this aluminum blade anymore. I might still bring it to the competition in case of just like an emergency blade if I need one. If the other one like breaks. And speaking of the other one, I'm gonna reveal that soon. That's gonna be an upcoming video. There's gonna be a new, much bigger, much harder hitting weapon for Oswald. To give an idea of just how heavy hitting it is, it should pack more power than Smoky Holes Axler's vertical spinner. Yet it's going to be going on a robot that is 7 times lighter. It is going to be made of aluminum. It's going to be a asymmetrical disc spinner, and yeah, that's it's coming in about a week. And when it does arrive, I'll do a video on it. I also have a bunch of new parts coming in. This motor is not going to be the main one used on Oswald. I'm actually going to be using a 5010 brushless motor. It's like a pancake brushless motor. It's very it's like thin, but it's also very wide. I think it's a higher power, but it's much lower kV. It's like 360 RPM per volt. Because I don't want a super fast weapon, because I want it to get a lot of good bite. It's like such a huge weapon. I'm gonna reveal like the size of it once it comes in. It's a lot bigger than this though. But yeah, it's going to be able to spin at a reasonable speed. It's still going to use vibration as the main form of translation, with a single wheel for steering. This is, yes, an N20 motor. I have some more coming in soon. This one's actually broken. I'm just using it for like a scale because it's very helpful. Yes, all this is 3D printed, by the way. But yeah, I might use this gearbox as a spare if it still works. But yeah, there's a lot coming up. I've been doing a lot of work on the electronics. Like I have a lot here. This is all of Oswald's guts. I'm going to be using this power connector that I put a piece of electric tape as the power switch, if I can get that off of there. Maybe I can't. So you see I was able to get that off, and that just breaks the connection to the battery. The battery is just going to be a 3S 800 milliamp hour battery from Amazon, because it was cheap. It was like $25. I had like a $200 budget for this, and $50 is going into the registration, so I had like a realistic budget of like $150. So yeah, the spinner ended up being way more expensive than I expected it to. I live in Canada, so that means that our rates are different, and the US Canadian dollar exchange was something that I was not aware of. The final price said $45, which I thought was like the final price, but then I saw there was over $60 deducted from my account, and it turns out that it's $45 US, which is around $60 Canadian. And I had no idea about that, and it kind of screwed up my budget, so I had to kind of change a couple things. But in the end, with all the math done, I will be able to afford this robot, and it will be built soon. I have a lot of parts coming in. I have like the motors and the battery. I have mostly electronics. I'm going to be using one of these cheap speed controllers. It's also from Amazon. It's powered through an 8-volt regulator. This is the receiver. It's just this mangled fly sky thing. Um, and yeah, the speed controller for the weapon, also from Amazon. It's this 40 amp brushless ESC, and that's going to power the 5010. And yeah, this weapon that is going to be on this is going to be hopefully a really hard hitter if I can get it up to speed. It's a very large weapon, like I said, so it's going to have a lot of MOI, so it might be very difficult to even get it up to speed, which is dangerous because I only have one wheel, and when that weapon's not going, because it is part of the drive, I'm just a sitting duck. It's just going to sit there and spin around in circles, and you have to be really fast in ant weights. It's something I've learned by watching. This is gonna be my first competition, by the way. This is my first professional competition on the channel, something I'm really excited about. But I'm also really nervous because I have no idea how this design's gonna do. But yeah, I'm just gonna have this like little wheel on there that's gonna spin around in circles while the weapon kind of moves it around as well, and that'll help me translate. But if the weapon's down, and that can happen because of if the ESC browns out, it's gonna take like a lot of time, like 5 seconds to reboot, and in an antweight class, that's like an eternity. And when you're a bristle drive kind of robot, that's even longer eternity. So I need to be really careful. I need to drive really well. Um, the uh, the challenge of driving is going to be about as challenging as this ambitious design. It's something that not a lot of people have really seen before. Um, and yeah, the design that I'm actually going to be entering into Brawl is obviously going to be different than the one I posted on Instagram, because obviously I'm going to make changes to it. I've made it a lot simpler, and I'll show you that right now. So here's the CAD model of the robot. It's very simplified, but as you can see here, we have our wheel, we have the motor. This is the battery, in case you could not tell. It's kind of difficult to see what it is. It could be many different things. This is the motor. This weighs over 100 grams. It is a beast of a motor. This should not even be used in an ant weight class. I think it's ambitious to use it even in a beetle weight class. But we're throwing it on here and we're just gonna run with it. But anyway, so the weapon's just going to be direct driven. In the CAD file I had the motor right here, and it belt driven, but that's going to be way too complicated, at least for what I want to do. And I'm going to need all the durability I can get, because this robot's not going to have very much of that. So we're just going to have the weapon, and I'm not going to show it right now. I want to have that fully revealed on the unboxing video of this spinner. But that's just gonna sit right there, and it's huge. Like, it takes up most of this this robot right here. But yeah, I'm probably gonna add stabilizers, because obviously you might be able to see that this can tip. Hopefully the gyro forces of this weapon will be able to keep it steady, but obviously we can't only rely on rotational forces to keep us upright. So we're gonna have to put some like stabilizing arms. The wheel should theoretically be able to make contact with the floor on all angles. So even if it's upside down, it should be able to spin around a bit. But it's going to be very difficult to self-right without like the help of the opponent even, or some crazy maneuver that's going to be like really lucky. But yeah, I need to add some sort of protection. It's probably going to be like cardboard or something. I really don't have the weight for it. The weapon is already like almost 200 grams. This motor is really heavy. I also have to account for the battery is like 70 grams. I really don't have the weight for a lot of things. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. I just have this 3D printed mount, and there's going to be something on this side too to really lock it in place to make sure that motor can't move at all. You can see that this motor shaft is kind of exposed there. That's kind of in danger, so that's why I'm buying spares. I'm going to bring spares to the competition. because this gearbox could easily like get hit by a spinner and just be obliterated. We're gonna hope that doesn't happen, but of course that is a possibility. So we're gonna have spares for that. These are like $10 each from Amazon. I'm sure you can find cheaper places, but this is just kind of how it is right now. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how that looks like. This is going to be a really interesting design. And yeah. So that is the CAD model for Oswald. That's kind of just like the design of it. I cannot wait until the spinner arrives. That's gonna be really cool. I'm hoping to make a video on that because it's gonna be really interesting. I may also do a boxing video on the brushless motor, and also maybe a video on the N20 motors, trying to like calculate what wheel size would be good on the motor. And yeah, that's just kind of the plans for this. I have a lot of parts coming in soon, like I said. I also have a lot of parts to print. Yeah, there's a lot that's happening. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe not to miss them, and see you next time.